Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga. This is a 30-minute morning yoga practice. So we're going to focus on a particular pose. It's called half moon pose, which is a wonderful balancing posture. That means we're going to be working our legs and our core to help us balance in this 30-minute practice. You'll need some props. I would suggest a stack of blocks. I've got some small blocks here, and I've got 3. If you've got 2 or 3, even some hardbound books that you can stack, or even a chair or a table, that's going to help you with the balancing part, and you'll see why once we get to that pose. And so I'm just going to keep those nearby. I do have my bolster here, may not be using it in the practice, but like to have it handy. And of course, I'm sitting on a soft blanket, and you might want to have that as well. Let's go ahead and start in seated. I'm just going to do a couple of breathing exercises just to get us moving. A nice full breath in, just to fill up your lungs, and exhale. 2 more times. Nice full breath in. Exhale. Good. Full breath in and exhale. Just holding for a moment. Just getting in tune with your breathing. Listening to the sound of your breath. Experience how your breath is moving through your body, what it feels like. Just going to add one more sensation which will help us with our core conditioning to help us with our balancing pose. So next, when you inhale, just feel the breath rising upward to fill your lungs. You'll also feel the extension of your spine. Then exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine. A light contraction of your abdominal muscles. This is called the abdominal lock. Really helps to support the body. Let's do that one more time. Nice full breath in. Lifting, lengthening, expand through the lungs. Exhale, connect to your center. One more time. Good. And just feel the body soften for a moment. Let's just make a transition to our hands and knees. And here's where you might want to use your blanket just for a little extra padding for your wrists and your knees. So join me here for cat and cow. So we'll inhale to tip the chin up. Feel like your heart is moving forward. You'll arch your back, tipping the pelvis back. This is cow pose. Then exhale, let's tuck the pelvis under. Feel the belly button pull up towards spine. That same sensation to engage the core, chin to chest. Inhale, reverse it. Tip the pelvis back. Heart opens, look forward. There's our back bend, cow. Exhale into cat pose. Feel the curvature of the spine, chin to chest. Engage your core. 2 more breaths like this. Just to feel the undulation of the spine, the movement of the pelvis. And it's a continual conditioning of our core body. Now, when you're complete, you'll just pause in this neutral tabletop posture. Just hold for a moment. And we'll just move off of our blanket here. Set it to the side. Let's get ready for downward facing dog. So if you're still on your hands and knees like this, let's step the hands forward. Spread out your fingers pretty wide. Just to create more support for the body, you'll lean forward and press into the mat to help open the palms. Feel the length and strength in your arms. Tuck your toes. We're going to do one more cat-cow. Inhale to cow. That's the back bend. Exhale, round it into cat. Hold the pose. Make sure toes are tucked. And then lift your knees and send your hips into the air. Downward facing dog. You can keep the knees pretty bent here. Send the hips up. Continue to press firmly and strongly into the floor with your hands. Strong arms. 2 more breaths. After the second breath, let's take a few steps forward, right up to the top of the mat or just behind the hands. Inhale, we'll rise up halfway. Slide the hands to your shins or knees. Hold here. We're in half forward fold. Let's hold this for a bit because this is actually some preparatory work for our half moon pose. I'm going to be sure the feet feel solid on the ground.
There is a slight bend in the knees. You're going to feel some energy in the legs to help support the body. We are extending through the torso. There's an energy moving through the crown of your head forward and through your hips and tailbone to the back of the room. 2 more breaths. Now shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees to lower your hips like you're sitting down and lifting the chest. Just bring hands to thighs for a moment. You'll be in a chair-like pose. If your back is slightly arched like mine is, just remember to kind of tuck underneath so you can continue to connect to your core body. You can push into thighs to help you stand up, so straighten the legs. You'll inhale and extend both arms up into the air for a nice stretch. Then exhale, arms come down to your side. We'll just pause here for a moment. Even feel free to roll the shoulders a few times. I like to roll them backward and then forward. And even a little stretch in the head and neck if you'd like. Maybe ear towards shoulder, something like this. And maybe turning the head side to side. All right, we're going to move through a half salute to the sun one time, and then we're going to move through a full sun salutation. So let's return to the top of the mat here, leaving a little space between your toes and the front edge of your mat. I'm going to suggest that you turn your palms forward. That will get a natural rotation of the shoulders back to help with posture. Here we go. Inhale, extend both arms up. Exhale, slowly fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees and slowly make your way down. Belly will come down towards thighs, fingertips towards toes. You might even peek between your knees towards the wall behind you to release the head and neck. Inhale, slide your hands back up to the shins or knees. Brief pause here in our half forward fold. Maybe a breath in, and exhale, slowly sink back down to a forward fold. And go as low as you'd like. I'm just slowly folding, getting heavy in the body. We're going to start a hamstring stretch, lengthening through the legs. Since half moon, yes, is a balancing posture, it engages the legs as well. And we need some flexibility in the legs and the hips as well. 2 more breaths. And then setting it up to stand. First, shift your weight into your heels, bend your knees to lower your hips, lifting chest to bring hands to thighs. I'm going to engage core just to feel the engagement, more support in the body, and then just drive the heels into the floor, standing up tall, and inhale to reach up high. Big stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. All right. You can do another circle of the shoulders if you like. Let's get ready right away for our full sun salutation. A nice way to warm up the body. Inhale, let's extend the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Again, a nice hinge of the hips. Be sure to bend your knees as much as you need to guide your way down towards toes. Releasing head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, rise up halfway to a flat back. Keep moving. We're going to exhale, slowly make your way all the way down to the floor. Hands on the mat. Let's step or walk or even jump the feet back into plank pose. We're going to pause right here. Taking a full breath in. The exhale, you can bend your knees a little to send your hips right up into the air to downward facing dog. I consider this a shortcut from plank pose to down dog. You can do that every time in your practice, and I typically do that in soft flow. Let's hold for a moment, making sure the knees stay bent. Send the hips up. Press hands firmly into the mat. Strong arms. Feel the head and chest sink naturally between the arms. Nice opening in the shoulders, in your upper back. Okay, ready for Warrior One. I like to step the left foot to the center of the mat. For balance, pick up right foot and extend the right leg back, reaching to the wall. Inhale. Exhale, let's send right foot to the top of the mat or just behind the right wrist. Turn left heel to the floor behind you, shifting the weight back so you have some good weight into that back foot. Rise to fingertips here to help extend spine. You want to have light hands so you can reach forward, hinge from hips, and rise up to Warrior One. We're going to hold Warrior One for a moment. Nice reaching sensation. As you exhale, just bring your arms down to your side for a moment. I just want you to experience what's happening in this lunge. We have a nice bend in the knee. Be sure your right knee and toes are pointing forward. The left leg is turning outward. It's an outward spiral or rotation. At the same time, your torso is trying to turn to face forward. So it's a light twist and a stretch for the left hip flexor. So this is a good hip opener. Let's get ready for the next hip opener. Let's inhale to return the arms all the way up. Exhale, turn torso towards the left side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. I like to continue now with this left leg turning out, outer rotation of the leg to help open up through the upper thigh and hip flexor here, being sure right knee and toes are still pointing forward. Let's take side angle pose. Let's reach. If you're able, maybe reach a little bit more. Rotate here. You still want to have balance. Your center of gravity is still here, not here. More in your center. Make sure the left foot's pressing firmly into the mat. Extending right hand down, left hand up. These are all prep poses for half moon. Pretty much half moon pose is balancing sideways on one foot. Here we're on 2 feet. So imagine balancing on this front foot with this left leg in the air. That's pretty much half moon. Inhale. Exhale, let's carefully turn. Fold, hands down to the floor. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you so you have nice even hips. Strong push into the floor with the hands. Slide right foot back, plank pose. Pause briefly. Bend knees, hips to sky, downward facing dog. I like to kind of step into place, making sure I don't slip. And there's down dog. Let's set up for the other side. Same thing. I'm stepping right foot to center of the mat. Pick up left foot. Inhale, extend left leg straight back. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat behind left wrist is good. Right heel to the earth. So you can see there's no weight back there. It's all in the front. So I can just send the weight back into that back foot, well planted, so I can easily rise to fingertips in front to help extend spine. Hands should easily lift off the floor, reach forward, rise up, inhale. Reach high, exhale, we're going to bring the arms down to side once again as we check in with the legs. Left knee and toes pointing directly forward. Right leg is doing the outward rotation. So we have the right hip flexor getting a stretch as the torso is naturally facing forward. Continue. Inhale, extend both arms up. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Making another adjustment with that right leg, continuing to open up. So we get that nice continuous lengthening through that back leg. Left knee and toes still pointing forward. Let's take this to side angle, reach out. If you're able, maybe a tiny bit more, making sure your center of gravity is still at your tailbone. Let's rotate the arms, reach high and low. Notice I'm not touching the floor. You don't have to touch the floor. You can if you're able to, but it's not necessary for the pose. Now, like I said, this is getting us ready for half moon pose, which is a sideways balancing posture. In the full posture, yes, this left hand, would probably be touching the floor. That's why we're going to be using the blocks or books. It's going to bring the floor closer to us. Let's continue. Inhale. Exhale, let's turn. Fold, hands back down to the floor. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. There's the realignment of the body. Hands press firmly into the mat. Strong arms. Slide left foot back, plank pose. Now you can take that same shortcut to down dog. If you want, you can finish the push-up. I'm going to modify that by sending the knees to the floor first. Flatten the feet. Bend the elbows. Make sure they're squeezing in towards ribs and lower my way down. For the back bend here, I'm just going to roll the shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together, push into the floor, but not lift very high for a low cobra like this. Inhale. In the exhale first, just push back to hands and knees. Tuck toes, continue lifting until you're in downward facing dog. Kind of step into place. We'll pause for a moment. All right, we're going to do a quick hip opener. Let's gently send the knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. This is hero. Then sit off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front. Before we do our hip opener, let's actually do a leg stretch. So this is staff pose. So straight legs here. Flex the feet to energize the legs. Hands on the floor by your hips. Pushing down into the mat to help extend spine so you're nice and tall. Once again, roll shoulders back. Nice and long through the neck. Look forward. This is staff pose. We're still breathing. So inhale. Feel like you're getting taller in the seat. Exhale, you're still pulling belly button in towards spine. Now we can take this into a gentle fold. So make sure you stay tall in the upper body. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward a little bit, not far, and then just bring the hands down to your knees or shins. Inhale, nice extension through the upper body. Exhale, maybe take one tiny step down the legs with the hands. You have an angled upper body. Now I'm trying to maintain length in both legs and length in the spine, which means I don't have to go down too far. And that's all we'll really need to do for this. Because this too is getting us ready for our half moon pose, feeling the length and strength of both legs, keeping the spine nice and long. And don't worry that you can't touch your toes right here, because when we get into our half moon, we won't have to touch our toes, we won't have to touch the ground, we'll have our stacked blocks or books. Alrighty, I'm going to free the hands, reach forward. Inhale, reach all the way up. Get nice and tall here. Exhale, bring hands down to the side. So return to staff pose for a moment. Taking a breath. We're going to soften. Now we'll come to our hip opener. Cobbler's pose or bound angle. I'm going to bring my blanket back in. I like to sit on something soft. And then bring the soles of the feet together like so. This will open up through the hips. Now don't worry if the knees don't touch the ground. They, of course, do not need to touch the ground. What you could do just to help the relaxation of the legs in this pose is grab your blocks or books or even rolled up towels or small pillows and just kind of tuck them underneath the legs like so. Now, you don't worry about trying to grab the feet. You can just hold onto your ankles or even your shins. You want to be able to sit up nice and tall here. Inhale for that extension of the spine. Exhale, pull belly in. You can remain just like this. If you'd like, though, you can start to hinge forward, just like we did in that seated forward fold when the legs were extended. Again, you don't need to go very far. Maintain a lengthened spine. As we hinge forward slightly, you might experience more sensation in the inner legs. And because I folded, I can now reach my toes. I'm just kind of scooping up my toes here. How about 3 more breaths? Very nice. Let's go ahead and hinge our way back up nice and tall. I'm going to move my props out of the way. Let's practice a balancing pose. I like to do tree pose as a balancing posture. We'll make our way there. Of course, we're still seated. So coming out of our seat, I'm going to move my blanket there. I'm going to lean back, keep heels on the floor, knees bent, holding on to the backs of my knees, lifting up to extend spine, but I'm leaning back at an angle, being sure I have a straight spine. Inhaling to continue that length. Exhale through the mouth to engage core. So a modified boat pose. We're just going to keep the heels on the ground for this so you can experience the engagement here in the center. 2 more breaths. You can hold on. You can free the hands if you'd like. All right, inhale. Now on the exhale, if you're able, cross legs. If you can, hands out in front or even to the side of your body. We're really just working to get our feet back behind us into plank pose. Let's just take a shortcut to down dog. So just bend your knees, send your hips into the air. Hold for a moment in down dog. We're returning to standing. So take a breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or even hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Here's our forward fold. Feel the stretch in your back and your legs. Inhale, let's rise up halfway. Hold here on the exhale, flat back. Shifting weight now into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse the swan dive, grow tall, reaching all the way up. Exhale, arms down to your side. All right, let's set up for tree pose, which is balancing on one foot. I'm going to mirror you. So let's find our mountain pose. Let's turn the palms forward. Once again, that'll just help with posture, rolling the shoulders back. Be sure to soften the knees. You don't want to have locked knees here. Start shifting your weight into your right foot. We're going to inhale, get nice and tall. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly button in. Pick up your left foot, flexing the foot just to keep that leg strong. We're going to swing the knee out. It might just be pointing towards the corner of the room or the side of the room, doesn't matter. And then placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. I like to go down to the calf below the knee. Then inhale, extend both arms up into the air. Good reach, good stretch. The more you lift, you get a little bit more opening in the hips. It's a balancing pose, but don't worry if you fall out of the balancing position. If you need to set that foot down and reset it, that's fine. Couple more breaths here. I'm just focusing directly forward, helping with the balance. Let's keep the arms extended. Let's swing this left knee forward. Lift knee, flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground, balancing again on 2 feet. Arms return to your side. Feel free to kind of walk that out, shake out the shoulders, check in with your feet, and we'll do the other side. Mountain pose, palms facing forward, good posture. Softness in the knees, shifting weight now into the left foot. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, draw belly button in. Let's pick up the right foot, flexing the foot to keep the leg strong. We're swinging the knee out to the side or corner of the room is fine. Placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. Inhale, extend both arms up. A good reaching sensation. You'll feel the lengthening through the sides of the body. Opens up the hips. You might even find that the knee points a little bit more towards the side of the room. Good extension. Nice energy as you reach into the air. 2 more breaths. Very nice. Let's keep the arms in the air. We'll swing the knee forward, lifting the right knee with the flexed foot. Set the foot down. Rebalance on 2 feet, and then the arms can return down to your side. And you can shake all this loose. Very nice. All right, let's get into our half moon pose. We are going to bring in those blocks. I'm going to place them here on the right side. And I'm going to show you a little trick. Now, ideally, if we look down at my feet will be, or toes are pointing directly forward. However, once we kind of get into this half moon posture, it's a really dynamic hip opener. It's kind of like this tree pose where you might find that the leg just naturally stops here at an angle rather than all the way out to the side by maintaining a squared out hip. If you don't have this type of flexibility, don't worry about it. What we'll do as a trick is rather than keeping the toes forward, if we're standing on the right foot, this is my right foot, we're going to turn the right foot in a little bit, a kind of an inner rotation, which is going to help you to open up on the other side. You'll see and feel as we get into the pose. So follow me. So I've got my blocks ready to go. This could also be a wall or a table or a chair because your hand can go there. Here we go. Now my feet are pointing forward at the moment. Inhale, reaching all the way up, big stretch. Exhale it slowly, fold forward, all the way down towards toes. Inhale, rising up halfway. I'm just going to settle in here by placing my hand on my stack blocks. And while I've got my hand on my block here, this is where I'm going to turn my right foot inward towards the left a little bit, like so. Now I'm putting more weight forward, relying on the blocks here. My left foot, I'm lightening it up and just tapping it back. And so I'm just on my toes, so I can just establish balance on the front foot in this hand. Now, I'm just going to slowly start lifting the left foot up off the floor, flexing the foot so it's very engaged. Now, flexing the foot there, can you see my left foot flexing? I'm starting to lift or turn my body to the left side of the room. Because my right foot is turned in, I can open up a little bit more. Make sure this left foot that's in the air is flexed. It'll engage this outer thigh, opening up through the hip. We've got the balance, okay, that block or that chair or wall, and maybe reaching left hand into the air. Here's our half moon for a little extra challenge. Maybe turning your head up towards this left hand. 2 more breaths. Very challenging. You can see it's balance, leg stretch, hip opener, core strength. We're going to carefully turn, unwind, bringing this left foot back down to the floor. I'm just going to go ahead and move my blocks to the other side. Hands are at my at my toes. Inhale, slide up to the shins. We're going to do the other side right away. Hands to the blocks. Lean into the blocks. We're turning left foot in. Leaning into the blocks again. Tapping the right foot back. Just getting ready for balance. Establish security here. Picking up the right foot. Start to extend it. I'm flexing the foot just to energize this leg as it lifts. As it lifts, is also encouraging the hips to open, turning sideways. Now, again, you don't have to turn all the way open, but that left foot turned in will help. Extending right arm up into the air. Good dynamic reach. I'm also dynamically pushing into the blocks. The left foot's pressing into the floor. Right foot's flexed and lifting. So we need an engaged entire body. I'm also turning head towards the sky for the extra challenge in this balance. 1 more breath. And carefully unwinding. Coming back down. All right, feet to the floor. 10 toes are pointing forward now. Moving my blocks out of the way. Monkey pose. That's that halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold all the way down to the floor. With the hands, step feet back, plank pose. If you'd like, finishing the push-up, I'm going to modify it again by bringing knees to the floor. Then lower the chest. Roll shoulders back, a little lift of the chest for cobra. Exhale to hands and knees. Let's stay on hands and knees. Cat-cow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. 1 more. Good. Come back to a neutral tabletop posture. I'm sitting back briefly into hero. Sitting off to the side. Swing legs around to the front. I really want to scoot way forward here. So you have room behind you to roll down onto the back. And as you roll back, you might bring knees into chest. And then set feet onto the floor and extend the legs. We're moving right away into Shavasana, coming to the end of our practice. Arms down by your side. And just feel the entire body just completely relax. Notice the feet. Just let the feet relax. The legs will start to fall open. Hips will relax. Your back melts into the floor. Palms are up, so you get that rotation of the arms. Feeling the shoulders melt into the mat. Now your eyes can remain open, or you can certainly close your eyes. Just a few more moments here. Returning to the feeling and maybe now the light sound of your breath to help you with your meditation. This was a short wake-up morning yoga practice, which of course you could do any time of the day. And since it is a shorter practice, if you have the time, stay longer in your Shavasana or meditative posture, which could be anything that feels relaxing to you. Even as I end the practice and come up to seated, you don't have to move right away. You can stay completely relaxed as you are. When you are ready to move, you'll take 5 slow, deep breaths. As you're breathing in and out, feel movement return to your body.
And when you're ready, carefully and slowly roll to either side of your body, perhaps a brief pause in this nurturing pose. And you can guide your way up to seated. So sit as tall as you can. You can cross your legs in a comfortable fashion. And your hands can just rest on your knees or in your lap, or bring hands to heart center. Wherever you are, take one more full and complete breath. Inhale, exhale. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.